Everyone ever wondered just how much meaning is packed into Taylor Swift lyrics? In this video, me and my friend are going to a deep dive into her songwriting using a fascinating approach like combining pragmatics, semiotics, and stylistic. We'll see how simple words can tell such a powerful and complex stories. Ready to explore the lyrical world of Taylor Swift? Let's get started. Taylor Swift is one of the most influential songwriters of our time, and her lyrics have captivated millions worldwide. Pragmatics will help us understand the intended meaning behind her words, and semiotics will explore the sign and symbol used, and stylistic will examine the specific linguistic devices she employs. Today, we'll be focusing on selected lyrics from The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived and My Boy on the Break His Favorite Toys. Methodology: Pragmatics. Analysis of utterance, intent in lyrics, and its effect on listeners. Semiotic: interpretation of layered meaning through denotation, connotation, and myth. Stylistic: influence of foreground techniques and figurative language on song impact. Next will be discussion by Marsya. Time is yours.
Okay, now we have central metaphor. The lyrics use a central metaphor of being treated as an object. Hung on your wall, broken toys, sandcastles to depict unhealthy and destructive relationship dynamics. Central metaphor, objectification and destruction. The core of the analysis revolves around the use of metaphors that portray the speaker as an object or something to be possessed and ultimately destroyed. The lines, "You hung me on your wall," metaphorically represent being treated like a trophy, devoid of agency and emotional connection. This objectification is further reinforced by the "stab me with your push pants" imagery, symbolizing small, persistent act of emotional harm. In "My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys," the toys become a metaphor for things valued and shared, highlighting the destructive nature of the boy towards what he supposedly loves. The Queen of Sandcastle he destroys metaphor further emphasizes this dynamic, with the sandcastle representing fragile creations built only to be demolished. This recurring motif of objectification and destruction underscore the unhealthy and damaging nature of the relationship depicted in the lyrics. And for the sample from our analysis, first we have "You hung me on your wall" is a metaphor. Instead of literally hanging a person on a wall, this expression suggests that the speaker is being treated as an object or something to be displayed or admired, but not truly valued or engaged with. The act of hanging here metaphorically represents being reduced to something passive or decorative, like a picture or an object of attention that lacks agency or emotional connection. And second, "Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed" is metaphor. The gun underneath the bed represents a hidden threat or danger that the speaker feels is lurking within the relationship or the environment. The bed, typically a symbol of safety, intimacy, and trust, is juxtaposed with a gun, a symbol of violence and danger. This contrast emphasizes a feeling of betrayal and fear in a place that should offer comfort and security. And next, we have emotion expressed. The lyrics convey a complex spectrum of emotions, from the initial feeling of being objectified and used hung on your wall. The speaker progresses to feelings of betrayal and suspicion, as seen in the questioning lines, "Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead?" Regret and sense of inevitability are present in "I should have known it was a matter of time." Frustration, resignation, and weary acceptance of a recurring pattern are evident in "Oh, here we go again," and the repeated "My boy only breaks his favorite toys." And from the sample from our analysis, first we have irony. "Should have known it was matter of time," suggesting that in hindsight they realized that the outcome was inevitable. The irony lies in the fact that the speaker didn't recognize the inevitability of the situation until after it happened, which implies that they failed to see the signs earlier. Even though they were there all along, this contrast between the speaker's lack of foresight and the reality of the situation could be seen as irony. Second, Queen of Sandcastle is supposed to symbolize something powerful and grand, but in reality, sandcastles are fragile and temporary. The irony comes from the contrast between the speaker's perceived grandeur or importance and her vulnerability, which are representative of fragility in the face of destruction. Additionally, the speaker seems to suggest that her touch, which could be viewed as intimate and nurturing, is actually dangerous, further contributing to the ironic contrast between love and harm.
Next is layered analysis, semiotics. The semiotic analysis delves into the multiple layers of meaning embedded with the lyrics. It explores how the denotative or literal meanings of words like wall, pushpins, toys, and sandcastle are enriched by their connotation or implied meanings. First sample is "You hung me on your wall." The denotation is the act of hanging something on a wall, typically a picture, portrait, or a trophy. Connotation: this line connotes objectification, possession, and a lack of respect for the individual's autonomy. It suggests that the ex-lover viewed her as an object to be displayed for their own benefit or amusement, rather than as an equal partner. It evokes the image of a hunter displaying their trophy. Myth. This taps into the cultural myth of the trophy wife, or the idea of a possessing partner as a status symbol. It also alludes to the myth of the artist and their muse. But with a darker twist, the muse is not inspiring creativity, but is being exploited and objectified. "Stab me with your pushpins." Denotation: the literal meaning is the act of using pushpins to pierce something. Connotation: this line connotes pain, violation, and sense of being constantly picked at or tormented. Pushpins, while small, can cause a persistent irritation and discomfort. The image suggests that the ex-lover inflicted small but numerous acts of emotional harm. It also connotes a lack of care and a disregard for her feelings. Myth. This evokes of the myth that by 1,000 cuts, suggesting that small repeating action can have a devastating cumulative effect. It also taps into the cultural understanding of emotional pain being as real as damaging as physical pain. The pushpins could also be interpreted as representing small criticism or jabs that, over time, and have caused a significant harm. Second sample is were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? The notation is whether the ex-partner was dispatched by someone with the intention of causing her death. Connotation: this line connotes extreme danger, betrayal, and a sense of being targeted. It evokes images of espionage, conspiracies, and life-threatening situations. It suggests a complete lack of trust and a feeling of being unsafe. Myth: this steps into the cultural myth of the femme fatale, or the dangerous, deceptive lover, but twisted. Instead of the woman being the dangerous one, she is the one who feels threatened. It also alludes to the myth of hidden agendas and secret lives. Next, we'll be discussing by Marsya. Time is yours.
Okay, next we have role of figurative language. The analysis highlights the crucial role of stylistic devices in enhancing the emotional and aesthetic impact of the lyrics. Metaphors are central, as discussed above. Personification, such as the voice in his head called the rain to end our days of what, gives human qualities to abstract concepts, intensifying their impact. Irony, as seen in the contrast between the Queen of Sandcastles and the fragility of sandcastles themselves, adds a layer of complexity and emphasizes the speaker's vulnerability. Hyperbole, like the idea of danger in her heart of my touch, amplifies the emotional intensity and creates a more dramatic effect. The stylistic choices contribute to the vivid imagery and emotional resonance of the lyrics. And from our sample, we have personification. The voice in his head called the rain that am is an example of personification. The voice in his head is being attributed with the ability to call the rain, as if the voice has control over the weather. This gives the touch, the voice, human-like qualities, implying that it has the power to influence or change external events. And second, we have hyperbole. There was danger in the heart of my touch. The idea that the speaker's touch is inherently dangerous is an exaggeration. While danger may be metaphorical, it amplifies the emotional intensity of the situation, suggesting that the speaker's affection or influence has a destructive effect. This hyperbole is used to intensify the emotional impact of the speaker's sense of powerlessness or regret.
Next is focus on speech art or pragmatics. The pragmatic analysis focuses on the intended function of the utterance within the context of the song. It examines the illocutionary force, or the speaker's intent, and the perlocutionary effect, the impact on the listener. We have in our analysis in sample 3, the pragmatics for "Oh Here We Go Again," the voices in his head, called the rain to end our days of wild. Pragmatics first is "Oh Here We Go Again." This phrase functions as an expressive, conveying a sense of resignation, frustration, and perhaps a weariness. It expresses a recurring pattern of behavior, and it also acts as a representative, indicating her understanding that the negative cycle is repeating. The illocutionary force is to express her emotional state regarding this recurring situation. The prolocutionary effect is to establish a context of repetition and predictability. Second is the voice in its head. This is representative or assertive, describing the perceived internal struggles of the boy in the song. It implies that his actions are driven by internal forces beyond her control. The illocutionary force is to offer an explanation or at least her interpretation for his behavior. The prolocutionary effect is to potentially shift some of the blame away from herself into his internal struggles. Called the rain to end our days of what? This line is more complex. It's primarily a representative or assertive, describing a metaphorical event, the rain ending their days of what. However, it also has elements of an express, conveying a sense of loss and the end of a carefree period. The illocutionary force is to describe the end of a specific period in their relationship, attributing the cause to these voices. The prolocutionary effect is to evoke a feeling melancholy and finality. It also implies a sense of external force, the voices and the rain, conspiring against their happiness. Okay, we begin to the conclusion. Through our analysis of selected lyrics from Taylor Swift, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, and My Boy Only Break His Favorite Toys, using serialist speech act theory for pragmatics and Barth's semiotics, denotation, connotation, and myth, we have demonstrated how these two frameworks can be effectively combined to provide a deeper understanding to the complexity of the song's lyrics. By combining these two approaches, we are able to uncover deeper layers of meaning. We went beyond surface level interpretation to understand the intended effect of the lyric and the cultural context they invoked. Appreciate the artistry of the songwriting. We demonstrated how Swift skillfully uses language to craft compelling narratives and evoke strong emotional responses in her listeners. Connect linguistic theory to popular culture. We show how linguistic framework like speech art theory, semiotics, and stylistic can be applied to analyze and understand contemporary cultural phenomena like popular music. In a sense, this exercise has shown that analysis lyric through the lens of pragmatics, semiotics, and stylistic provides a more holistic and nuanced understanding of their meaning and impact. It demonstrates the power of language to not only describe the world but also shape our perception, emotion, and cultural understanding. It also shows the value of linguistic analysis in the appreciating the artistic depth of popular music.
That's all. The result of the analysis from Taylor Swift's song My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toy and Smallest Man Who Ever Lived that we can convey. Thank you for the attention you have given. Hopefully, what we have learned can be useful. Thank you.
Thank you.